Hello, world. Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Darcy here tonight on the Bonsai balcony. We have Saturday Night Live on the Bonsai balcony. We are here tonight at Frida's place, and I'm surrounded by stuff. I have scissors and uh, potting soil substrate and a little tray of Japanese black pines, and I have pruners, and I have tweezers, and I have box cutters, and I have just everything I could think of to pile in around me to do this show. It is one I'm looking forward to. And will you see me looking around? I'm looking around for what I did with her dog treat. May have messed up there, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, show what we are going to do tonight is we are going to select from this tray of black pines. There's several here that I've already gotten some pretty good little motion to them. One of them looks like it's got some pretty cool root stuff, but a lot of them, there's about a half a dozen in here that have already been wired. Now, they didn't get wired as freaky deaky as some of the stuff that we've done in the past. This was more a show where I was showing what it would be like to be a real bonsai person, where you had a tray of little seedlings and you would take a tree, stab a wire, put a couple of bends in it, and set it down, giving yourself like 30 seconds to stab a wire, wrap a wire, bend a tree, move on to the next one. Hello, Lee. How are you this evening? Nice to see you. Happy holidays and all of that good stuff. So, with that being said, we have some little trees that are already showing some really, really good movement, but not the kind of stuff that we were really known for. Just kind of your basic front starter movement. But with that having been said, these are tiny little trees, and I have got a small stack here. This is actually three of Elizabeth Crutendon's Mame unglazed, mostly unglazed. This one is like mostly unglazed. Uh, Bonsai pots. These are very, very nicely, nicely made pots. I think you can see the cut work and the chop and the details and the precision. This thing, this is a hand carved. This is a handmade, hand carved pot, and this is what her work looks like, which is why I'm always so excited. Which is why um, some of our trees have come out, I think, really well. Um, yeah. So hopefully, I have enough stuff around me to pull this off. I don't think I'm missing anything. I might be missing a piece of screen. If I'm missing screen when we get down to that part, I'll go grab one. But that's kind of what we're looking at tonight. It's the holidays. It's Saturday night. I hope that everyone is having a good holiday so far. I hope nobody is finding this too stressful or is finding themselves without on the holidays. I know how all that stuff can go. I've been the one that felt like I had to do everything, and I've also been the one left standing after everybody passes on, and that only child thing came back to haunt you after years of getting being only child. You find out that you're the only one left. The first couple of years of that were truly painful. I gotta say, looking back, but they get better. They do get better. I've been having as much fun as anybody the last couple of years. I enjoy eating. I enjoy the festivities. So yeah, and another excuse to be good to you is always good. I just pulled this out to look at it. It's not one we're going to be. It's not one we're going to be working on. I just pulled it out. It's got a. It's looking really healthy and looking really good. It's got two tops going to it. I should probably go through there and let's make a little selection on that. And I'm just taking stuff and just going out and all of a sudden my palm itches like nobody's business. Uh, I'm getting money. I think is what I heard when I was a kid. This little guy here, oh, wrong tree. This little guy here has pretty good motion to it, and I think, yeah, I'm just going stretching that wrist. I think that this little guy has pretty good motion to it. I'll do a little, maybe a little bit of cleanup while I'm here, but it's budding out a lot at the base, and we see some little bit of heat damage, but not a lot. And it's already looks like to me like it's replaced um, some of what. So it's a really healthy, really happy little tree with a top that probably needs to be cut back a little. We'll we will consider, and it's got a loop cut in it. We bent we bent a Cheerio into it, and it probably has. We bent two Cheerios into it, and it probably also has some. That's my palm. It just started itching like fire. So it's got probably has the way the trunk is coming out of the ground with movement. It's probably coming out. It's probably got some pretty good roots. That if we were to go in there, we would probably see some pretty good. Hello, Dave. How are you today? I saw Dave and Lee earlier today when we were over at Nigel. Nigel was doing one of his shows. And this is another look. This tree is not one that we bent, but the trunk is looking really thick. These are all trees that we started from seed, and these guys are just doing great. They're taking the what's left over of the balcony when it comes to lighting wise. They're not necessarily getting the prime location. They get watered by me just holding the watering can over all of them and kind of doing that. If I see one of them looking yellow, I'll move it, thinking that maybe that falls on me. I've done something, maybe I'm not splashing enough water its way. This thing looks pretty unruly, but on the other hand, I know I'm not showing you these up close. The idea is that I probably won't decide all at once. I'll pull out a couple of trees and set them off to the side. That's just got set on my laptop. The same laptop I keep looking at whenever I think I'm talking to camera because anyway. Let's see now. Oh, different Dave. Dave's Bonsai. I said hi to Dave and hi to Lee, and then I see it says here different Dave. It could have been, I suppose. Okay, good with that. Good with that. This one has some motion in it. I'm just going through and looking at some of the stuff that we wired and picking out what might look good in a tiny little pot with a minimum amount of cleanup. Man, that guy looks really, really healthy. Kind of raking back. And I rooted these guys. I just should probably go ahead and mention that. I rooted these guys on perlite, and I thought we would just root them in perlite and see how it goes, and I would get them out. I would I would get them out as we needed to. Um, I see these guys doing fine on perlite, which is which is good because we have quite a bit of perlite. This guy looks pretty happening. Could use some cleanup. It's got it's got a big old sacrifice. What it is this is the top, and this base is doing so well. That could be the tree, and we could call this a sacrifice branch. Cut that back. Yeah, this might be another show unto itself. This is a pretty good little tree, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back for you. I'll remember that guy because of that one look. This tree, I can't tell, but it looks especially short. Oh, Okay, that's a runner-up. And I don't want to spend 45 minutes doing this. I'm just already seeing some. This is doing this is doing really good. And by doing really good, I need to weed this. But by doing really good, as you can see this top here, this is the tree I want. This is our sacrifice branch, which is making the tree we want better all the time. Yeah, buddy. Okay. So much good stuff to enjoy in here. I'm seeing a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna jump ahead to one that I pretty well knew that I was gonna like, which is this one. Yeah, that's one of our contenders, probably more so than this guy. That's a really healthy. That's a very healthy looking tree. Uh, I should come back and work on this tree. And what I mean by that is this tree is just one of those trees that has something in the way of vigor. But if I cut this container back, I could see where I could do a little bit better by the trunk. And I probably should because the trunk is already thickening up pretty nicely. But I can still fix that if I go if I go soon. A little reminder. Rita, remind me what that rubber band is for later. All right, I'm seeing some other trees that we've got some pretty good motion in, but I think I've already uh, continued on with enough of a mess. This one has really good motion, is really good wiring. It's a little long. It's got a really nice little root there. Woof, woof, I like that. This one looks around back at the pots. Do you see how that trunk? Those are twists with wire that have gotten well and truly swollen there. Poor dyslexic Pat. Um, this might be our guy. This might be our guy. All three of these. This one looks more like a canyon tree than anything. I mean, it's probably the most twisted and the most. Uh, okay, we're gonna go with the last one I just looked at, and we could just turn around and do two more shows with the last three. Yeah, those could just as easily been this show. So, and the ones that I have here that are still very straight and I haven't done anything to, uh, that Patricia needs to get busy and throw some wire into those sides. All right, I'm going to set this tray off to the side, and that was 4, 16. That was 15 trees. That was 15 trees that we planted that we grew from seed, and I used those 15 to pick out what it is we would be working with tonight. So, all right, a tree selected. God, I got a mess up here. Now let's see. This is our guy. We'll take this off to the side. I've cut this pot down. Probably I cut this pot down to half size whenever I wired this. Also, I had done in the last show, I had discussed how we do this. We stick a wire up from the bottom, stick it up from here, bring it up to the top, wrap it around. But before we wrap it around, we bend it up the side of the pot. That way, when I'm wrapping this wire below the surface, it's not trying to do that. It's attached to the side of the pot in such a way that it's not going to start slinging around as I'm wrapping it around up here, wiping out roots and stuff. So, all right. Give these guys a little squeeze. Squeeze it on all sides to loosen it a little in that pot because I'm about to try to slip pot it. Slip pot it. I think this is a nice little pot. I think this is over potted. I think it might be. Oh man, hanging on. Let go already. Okay. I love that. Uh, you can see that even though there's a lot of, this is all just as white as it can be. There's an awful lot of mycorrhiza in here. It looks very, very happy. And we would kind of maybe expect that because the looks of the tree is also looks pretty happy. This looks to be a pretty happy tree. Pull back some of this. That's just all roots. That's a little, yeah, might have been a little root bound. Uh, it might have been a little root bound. I have a chopstick. So I'm just going to start loosening this up. I have some boom mix standing by. I have some wires standing by. I have some wire still connected to this tree that I think uh, will probably still be helpful. And I'm just going to break this ball up somewhat. Yeah, this guy was planted. I think this was planted in pure perlite. So what you're looking at is nothing but roots and perlite. And I have to break down the shape of this cube somewhat. Today, Frida and I did some stuff around the house. we did. We went to the store and got some supplies for the weekend that we needed to make it through the weekend. Then we went out to the balcony and we did a show on the balcony. The show on the balcony was where I cut back, pruned back the choices on our bald cypress tree. So our bald cypress compilation today has been pruned back, and the good, the bad. The good is I think I did a pretty nice job. We we pruned that back to some choices that will keep the guy going, keep those three trees going on the direction that we want. All is looking good on that. Only downside is they look really bare, and I don't get the rush looking at three truly bald cypresses in the same way that you would a nicely refined trident maple or something. Basically, at this point, I'm just waiting on spring to put some green back on those trees. Uh, having derived the one bit of good out of the one bit of fun out of this time of year now, there's really not a whole lot left to do but just to sit back and wait for them to put out new stuff, and then take it from there. All right, I'm going to move that out of our way. I'm going to go with this pot. I'm going to go with that pot. I'm going to do a minimum of root choppage on that. And let's see, we'll go with this screen. Do I have a small piece of wire handy? No, I don't have one leaping out at me, but I got one right here. We're not going to worry. So just about the time I just went up and opened the door, just before we went live, started raining again. We have had quite a bit of rain this week. Yeah, and no end in sight. And no end in sight means that it'll probably have a pretty okay day. Maybe, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, every other day or so, because there are these big storms and they're just kind of stacked up between and here in Hawaii or here in Japan, and they have a little break in between them, but you can see like the next three. You can see the next three weather events that are going to be coming. So yeah, the trees on the balcony, I would say right now are all looking pretty good. Our temperatures today were like 60, so everybody else is already having to deal, and we're just going, yeah, no, this is all still pretty nice and stuff. So maybe I can use that. Maybe I can use that. So now I'm going with this pot. This pot was came from the UK. It was made by our by our friend and potter and artist creator Elizabeth Crutenden. I hope that you, Elizabeth, are doing well. And this pot is unlike a lot of glazed pot. It has a splash of color. It has a little band of yellow in the middle, and I really love it. It almost reminds me of something called a coffee um, urn. If you've ever seen the Van Gogh painting of sunflowers, there were urns that were bright yellow like that, and I believe they were for coffee. And there were other urns that were green here, and they would have looked just like it, but they were for olive oil, and that was how you would know what the urn had in it back in old world days. And this reminds me of that. It's very cool colored stuff. I um went and grabbed my good old oily rag. This is my this is a piece of a t-shirt, and it is probably at this point equal parts baby oil and olive oil. I like I like to treat my tools and my bonsai pots. Well, you can do the bonsai pots with baby oil, but I also like to do them with olive oil. And I especially like cleaning my my tools with olive oil uh, because it's food. So that would mean that I'm lubricating and cleaning my tools with something that is food grade. It's food grade stuff. All right. But you can get the same shine with baby oil when it comes to the look of those uh, maroon unglazed clay. You can get a good shine out of that stuff with baby oil, or in this case, olive oil. I went with olive oil this time because I've been using the baby oil so much that the rag was starting to become. I didn't like the ratio of it's a rag of both, and I wanted it to be more. I wanted it to be more olive oil for this. All right, pot's ready. Tree's been has been extruded from the pot, and I've got my made this. I made this out of copper pipe fittings. This is the cap. Um, this is a joint piece. What do you call a joint piece? Anyway, this was a small piece about that big. It's made to join these two pieces together. And then this was just a piece of pipe that was the right size to be cut for that, and I cut it off at an angle, heated it up, and threw some solder together. And this is the only one of these. I have enough pieces for maybe another one. I cut pieces for a second one here a while back, and those went to Steve at Steve's Backyard Bonsai, but he showed up before I had a chance to solder it, which was lucky because he soldered his up. I gave it to him unsoldered, and he's on his show, and that made for a nice show. Plus, it did a much better job of soldering than. Are you okay? Okay. Bless you. Yeah, bless you. Let me rub your little nose. Okay. He got a much better job of soldering than I was doing. He was a pro at doing that. So he has one of these. I have one of these. His is soldered better. Okay. Anyway, it already has um, about half full of substrate. I can probably use all that, but I also have my pie tin standing by down here. I'm trying not to kick with yeah. Bang that copper pipe on the side of that ceramic bowl again there, Patricia. All right, that's enough. Should be enough. Little boon mix in there. A little much, maybe. That's okay. I'm gonna leave that wire on there. Be easy, tread easy there, Pat. A lot of really fine roots on this guy. It's doing everything. Should probably, looking at this, I would say we should probably have a higher opinion of perlite. Like Oh, that's most excellent. I want to do this. Okay. No luck doing that. I was going to try to thread this wire through the hole. I don't need it. I just wanted to do that. The reason I don't need it is because I have these two standing up ready to thread this root ball through. Bring this down. Okay. I'm just kind of, I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to our angle yet. I just stuck those two wires through our root ball, brought them up to the top, and gave them a small amount of twist so that I won't have to worry about them falling apart while I look. And what I'm going to be looking at is our angle. I've got a lot more substrate to put in here yet, and also I need to chop these roots down into this soil a little bit, and do all that stuff. So, but right now is a good time to see where we are on here and how I likes it. This is a huge root right there. That is pretty dramatic. I think if I could get this guy to do that. Okay. I believe I got something on there that I like. I'm going to see if I can bring it up closer to you in a minute and show you what we did. I think you'll like it. Pulling it up because that's the wire that goes across down here on the bottom. Pull that tight and then start twisting. Give it a little reprieve. Let go of it, let it relax, and then pull it tight and twist some more. Hello, Paul Kraus. How are you this evening? Merry Christmas. I've been enjoying the holidays so far. I have. I've been having a pretty good time working at the store, and it has been pretty busy. And things are going good at the store. Things are going good at work for me. Things are going good here for me. Um, yeah. So on that front, I'm pretty happy with the way a lot of things are going. There are some things that I'm not as happy about, but on my own personal front, I think I would say I've been pretty lucky here the last couple of years. I've kind of come on to my own a little. which is good. It was it was, believe me when I say it was earned. All right, so I'm going to take a second and show you where we're at. I'm trying to kind of keep one eye here. Right? I'm just going to keep messing around until I drop the thing. Come on, focus, please. There you go. I think that's a good start. I'm going to chop some more soil down in here and okay. And I would like to bend that top down. If you saw what I was doing, I didn't get the movement out of. I did. It just moved back when I let go of it. This is going to be a nice looking little Mame. I think I think we had several. I think we were lucky enough to have several good choices, and we were double lucky to have some really beautiful little pots from Elizabeth. And yeah, this tree here, this here tree. It that was a line from Christmas Story. That's not a tree. That's a tree. And then the needles fall off, and he goes, "That's not a tree." Anyway, this little tree shows no signs of heat damage. None. I guess its position was uh, farther off the balcony, out of the direct light. The lights were down. I had shut them off on our hottest days while all that shenanigans going on. So, and I haven't noticed as much heat damage on this tray of trees or the other tray of trees. And they're not always in the best positions when it comes to how much light they're getting. And some of them look like they're getting flagged by the other trees a little bit. And so they're doing a little, the things that trees do. They're could probably give them each individual care and bring them on a little more, but a tray full of trees does pretty much what I'm describing. Okay. I could do quite a bit of prune back on this, and I might later, uh, not without you. And then I also have this huge wire up here that, that we could use, that we haven't been using, that we could use to get more motion out of this top. And the trick is to just totally not wire all these damn needles. So how are you going to not wire the needles, Pat? Well, I'm going to not wire them by pulling them out at the roots. Therefore, we don't have to worry about killing them with wire. I make funny, but still, it's worse to kill them with wire than pulling them out, because if you kill them with wire, if you wire them down, the tree is still trying to sustain them, but they're not doing anything for the tree. root sticking up there. I think we've got a I think we've got a pretty cute little tree here. Maybe try that again. Maybe I'm going to try that again. You see what I'm doing? I'm just back to that wire off, taking a second, going back up tighter this time. All right. Okay. Okay. Do it with your hand. All right. Enough. We good. I got some good motion out of the top. I took the top that was trying to go straight up, reappropriated the wire, made the bands a little tighter around this little stretch of the trunk, and then see if I can turn this in such a way that even. All right, and then let's see. These little guys a little break. Relax those. All right, that's the tree. I can clean this up some more and it would look a little better, but I think that we have handled this guy enough and gotten some pretty good motion out of it. I'd like to take, I would like to take this part of it right here a little farther down, but I don't have to get that. I do not have to get that right now. We could also use some more cleanup down here on the bottom, but the tree is very healthy and we just repotted it and mangled it around a little bit. So I think this is a good place. This is a good place to look at what we've achieved here. And what we've achieved here is pretty cool. This guy has got a really thick trunk for its size. It's got some pretty good exposed roots and some really good motion. So, and it's also budding out profusely. So we're going to call that a win-win-win, and another little addition to our Mame Japanese black pines. Um, cool, Daddy-O. I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. Our next drop will be probably in about an hour when I do the finishing touches. Oh, that tree looks good, y'all. In about an hour when I do the finishing touches on the cypress tree compilation that we did a little trim back to. We brought that tree back into shape for our 2025 grow season. We have selected all the branches and limbs that are going to go through there and become part of our tree next year. And I think that was probably about a 30-minute. That was about a 30-minute drop, but the lights were on and the overcast meant that the balcony was dark and we have those rich orange colors from all that foliage everywhere against the gray background. I thought it was a pretty video and I enjoyed making that out. And it's also not a lot of stress. It's not like you're selecting between two holy grails or something that you're, that's really gonna. It's something that we're gonna just go through and pick these branches and make it something that's even and has a nice shape to it that we're all in all mostly agreeable with. If we see a year or two or down the line that we're not happy with any of it for any reason, it can be replaced and with something that'll will have fixed whatever we think was up with it. In other words, if I look at the tops and I don't like the branch selection, chop that top off and it'll be replaced by the end of the summer. We're talking like the last foot or so. So none of that was super, super serious. It was pretty much laid back and just go clip, 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 clip. Um, but that was enjoyable, and it gets us going. It was just that next thing we do to get going for the next spring, and come spring we'll see all that stuff that we and I will have left a little extra on that guy so that if one little uh, branch that I cut back that for next year doesn't survive the winter, there's a couple around it. So we'll still have a few more selections to make. Our That's pretty much what we lost on the thing. Not much. I was really happy to see the way the roots were looking on this. God, it was full of roots. They were super, super fine. I'm really impressed with perlite as far as what it does for roots. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed by that. So yeah, that's us. And this is our new little Japanese black pine. The trunk on that thing looks fantastic. I think that's a really cool looking little twisted up little cool canyon tree. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. We're going into the holidays. Don't let your family drive you crazy. Tell them you need to walk the dog or go watch a bonsai video and get yourself your little you time as needed. And thank you all so much for watching.